don't know if I can out-Catholic you, but my mother came from a family of 9 kids. Out of those 9 kids, there were 2 priests and 2 nuns.
Incredible.
That's what I'm growing up in. Every holy day and every saint's day, we had to go to church. So you don't ever miss a Sunday, number one, ever. And you don't miss a saint's day. Like, you go to church.
And they have the list.
Constant, yes.
They're nuns and priests, and you come home and your mom's wearing a blouse and you're like, fuck. Is it a fucking holiday? Some kind of holiday?
From where? You think I was allowed to go out of the house to my friend's house 1 mile away in Tipton? No. That's how strict it was.
Couldn't you masquerade? Couldn't you blow off some steam? Couldn't you do I got to go for a run and then?
No. I mean, you had to be reporting in. There was no freedom whatsoever. Yeah.
Fear or just repression?
Both.
On their part. They didn't love joy. They didn't love merriment. They didn't love. We weren't allowed to laugh at the dinner table.
Wow.
And I have the same rule at my shows.
Woo! I was often invited off the table and then told to stand. My dad would draw a little circle. Like, I'd have to get on my tiptoes. He'd draw a circle. I'd have to put my nose in the circle and hold my arms out, because I was being disruptive at the dinner table.
Demonstrate it on the microphone, please.
On the microphone.
On the microphone. And then you'd have to hold your arms out.
Well, on my tiptoes. And he drew the circle, because you tiptoes, you draw a circle, you put your nose in that circle, tiptoes, arms out.
How long would you have to do that for?
I don't know. For as long as, probably till they finished dinner, just so my ass wouldn't be there.
Would you cry?
Oh, I'd be just angry.
I would cry. I was one of the great criers.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's a healthy way to express yourself.
A friend of mine, an adult friend of mine, a gay adult friend, and he was somewhere with his boyfriend, and somebody threw something at him, they yelled and threw something at him, and he's like, and I was like plotting and scheming, and I'm gonna do it, and he's like, then I got home and I just cried. He's like, because it was like, my feelings were hurt. All the anger was from hurt feelings. So I guess why you say good for you is because the anger is sadness, probably. Your anger.
I think you're right. Yeah. The 4 pieces of fear, right? Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
Fawn's new, by the way. Mm-hmm. Fawn they didn't have 15 years ago that I was aware of.
Okay.
And then I saw it and I was like, that's, side note, every relationship in LA.
Right. And that's all part of codependence too.
Yeah.
Right. How do I act with this person right now? And sometimes just like, you're walking past someone. Why do I feel like I have to have a certain position with that person? They will never know you. It doesn't even matter. It's whatever, You're just walking down the street like, well, I'll walk this way. What's wrong with you? I'm not a threat.
Yeah.
I want you to know I appreciate you.
Yeah. Why? It's Mulaney's ex-wife, you say.
That walking around with me was like walking around with someone who's running for mayor of nothing.
Which is hilarious. So how did Catholicism affect your shame, sex, success? Did it?
It's all shame, right? All shame. It's that not good enough, that feeling of not good enough. That really, that can be paralyzing. And, then again, that'll feed into something of soothing with, substance abuse, alcoholism. So those, that's how you deal with it. Like, I can't be myself. Oh, okay, I'll drink. Then I'm myself. I can be myself now because I'm not thinking about, the anger and all that.
Well, yeah, stuff. It's the you feel ashamed, mm-hmm. then you think that the shame is coming from other people.
Yeah.
And then you are so defensive naturally. Mm-hmm. And so you start drinking and you're like, right, you didn't think and right. It's like, they didn't think of you at all.
Well, they would know of them. I'm talking about my parents. Yes.
No, I'm talking about the proverbial, person that you're walking past or whatever.
Oh yeah. Right.
Like they're not,
they were not even on. There's a quote from someone that, people don't think about you as much as you think they do. People are not thinking about you.
No.
We're always thinking, oh, what is someone say?
Yeah. I'd say we're all just flying past each other's windshields. It's like this. And
Yeah, but even when I got Saturday Night Live, like my parents, they're like, that show is a little,
yeah,
a little racy. They weren't. I'd
racy.
say,
I didn't think. I thought you were gonna say like past its prime or something.
oh no,
Yeah.
they didn't have an opinion about comedy.
Yeah,
It was like they're sometimes dirty, so they weren't necessarily. It wasn't a thrill for them. Like, but are you kidding?
yeah,
Do you not understand what this is? This is the pinnacle.
yeah.
But like, well, it's not our type of show. And I was just like, you have no idea what it takes to get here.
It's also such a weird thing to express.
It's like, do you not see the accomplishment? Is that not the thing?
I don't think they could.
You're right.
I think you need their value system. Their families for 40% holy people.
Oh yeah.
Here's a question that it's not about you or why do you think that generation? What do you think that the two that became nuns, two became priests? Do you think it was a sexual thing, a repression thing, a service thing? Because remember when a lot of people would be called.
Oh yeah, that's
and then they stopped. The call stopped.
That's what I had a conversation with my aunt who's now passed, and she was in her 80s, and we were driving. I drove her from Kansas City to Tipton, which is 2.5 hours, and I asked her about it. And
was she a nun or she was one of them? She was.
And so all of the things that you mentioned about the reasons to go into it are in play, but also poverty, because that was a free education, right? And she told me that she got the call. She told me when she got the call. And she told me that she was boy crazy early, right? And then, you're always being indoctrinated when you're in a Catholic school about make sure you're available to the call. And she was
basically the call, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, they would say it was a vocation.
Yes.
And basically God would speak to you and tell you to become a priest or a nun.
To be in the most repressive position
in a dorm with other priests and nuns.
Yes, and never get your own freedom of expression. Your life is only service.
You are married to God.
Literally married to God, as they say.
They have a ring. Don't the nuns wear a ring? Yeah.
It's such an odd thing, and I'll say it. That's a fucking cult. I mean, come on, gang.
Catholicism?
Yeah, come on. This makes no sense whatsoever. And then, because look what happened within it. Right? All the abuse.
Yeah, the amount of abuse and the amount of it's maybe the most inconvenient truth that I can think of. Like worse than climate change in a weird way, because they automatically just forgave him because it's so like fuck, dude. What did you do?
Unbelievable.
I almost understand the Pope shifting people around and like fucking if we throw out everyone that it does this, we're gonna have no one doing it,
right?
And we believe not only is it the financial incentive, like we need to leech money from our parishioners consistently because it's basically a real estate operation at this point, and or we're helping, we're helping the world
you're lining your
with
pockets.
Our message.
It's such a weird thing. I don't understand. And of course, I don't know if they even have nuns anymore. Like
you don't see them.
You don't see them. I think that thing is dying out. And a lot of your priests are coming from overseas now.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Because people are like, I ain't doing that. I think, for a long time it was an escape from your own repressed sexuality. I think that was part of it. And then my understanding of the things I've heard about it is because they were dormitized in a dorm room, right? In 8th grade or 12, 13, you'd go to the seminary at that age. And at that age, boys start exploring sexually. And so that's when they have
what kind of sex objects or what kind of objects of sexuality would be common at a what are they called? The what?
Seminary.
Seminary, yeah.
Yes. Well, however you get
a lot of dicks around there?
Fluid out. So they're all, probably, having whatever, just, they're casual, like, oh, okay, just a bunch of dudes. Haha, let's have a circle jerk, whatever that is, right? And so I think because they're sexualized at that age, that's why a lot of these priests, I think, would sexualize kids at that same age.
Yeah.
Because that's what they know.
Yeah.
But it's so dark and devious, and they don't have an outlet for expression that maybe they're testing, like, are you like me too? And it's okay to have this freedom now here too? And like,
Yeah.
really messed up. And, you know, it's institutionalized too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just all of it is no. The problem is not replacing it with something else. You know, when I quit going, I'll tell
To
you this.
church?
Yeah. A long time ago. I wanted to believe. Oh, I'm sorry. My aunt, who's a nun, was sitting on a playground set when she was 12 or something like that. And that's when she heard the call. And it was very clear to her that that's what she needed to do. I was like, oh, okay.
And she was concurrently boy crazy.
Yes. But then
And maybe depending on what part of the playground set, may have had some vaginal. I'm betting there may have been some connection there.
I'm sure she never had anything like that.
I cannot believe you didn't ask her. That old lady about her young vagina.
Had it been touched?
Pull over. Let me ask you this. Okay. And what, so she said it was about, at least she mentioned the boy crazy part.
Yeah. And that she got the call and she remembered it was very clear and that was she was supposed to do. And she was smiling when she was telling the story, almost like that glow. Have you watched that Mormon documentary on Netflix? Like that type of like,
yeah.
What is it? Sweet.
Keep pray
sweet.
And obey or something.
Keep sweet. Something yeah, weird like that.
I think we're both right.
Yes.
Keep sweet, pray and obey.
There
That's what
it
it's
is.
called, I believe.
So yeah, the four of them. And a lot of it was economics. So yeah, and so that's how Catholic. And now I quit going to church when I was a sophomore in college because I wanted to believe. I had to go to a Catholic college.
I was going to ask, but I'm like, of course you did.
Yeah,
Where'd you go?
There's
Marquette?
no option. You could go to community college, but you can only go to Benedictine College in Atchison, Kansas, if you want to go to college, because that's where my uncle was the abbot of the monastery that was connected to that college.
Fair enough.
So there you're going. That's it.
Did you get full ride?
No. My parents paid. What college wasn't expensive then, but so I had to go there for 2 years, and I did. And then I went to the University of Missouri and completely fucked off because I was a poli-sci major. And I realized by my third year, like, oh, I'm not going to make it. What are you talking about? I realized what politics was. I really wanted to get in and to help people. I really did. And that was my calling. Like, I want to help people. But also, I think I wanted to be in front of people.
Yeah.
But I had no access to, like, I've never met an actor, from Tipton, Missouri. I didn't know how this would ever work. I knew at 13 I was going to be on Saturday Night Live. I knew that then. I'm like, I'm going to be on that show. So then I choose, what am I going to do? Tell my parents I'm going to be a theater major? They're not going to pay for that.
Yeah.
So by the third year, I realized to be a successful politician, you have to be either A, from a political family, or you have to be from a wealthy family, or you have to be the smartest person in any room you walk into. And I was none of those things. So I was like, this is not going to be satisfying. Or, a poli-sci major, then it's either teach or, be a lawyer. I was like, I'm not going to do any of this stuff.
Once you got sober, I'm still just curious, like, how did the Catholicism bleed into other stuff?
I think because you're looking to reject it so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So that forced its hand of, fuck you, you want me to behave? I'm going to misbehave as deeply and as irresponsibly as I possibly can.
Give me a highlight reel.
Well, using my kids might watch, using all kinds of drugs, and ones you really shouldn't do.
Yep.
And you have to introduce.
In Chicago?
Yeah.
Got it.
No. Actually, Columbia, Missouri, where the University of Missouri was.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. A couple of buddies who were junkies, and
That's wild.
I dabbled in everything.
Yeah.
I was like, because it was a response to that very repressed upbringing. I'd say that.
And also, you're reckless to begin with.
Yes, yeah, but I'm pursuing the recklessness as well, right? Just to test it, because there's always that feeling of immortality at a certain age.
Yeah.
And you have to just get out of yourself. I think that's the other part of the ADD. Like, I need to escape who I am and what's going on.
Yeah, I don't think it's easy to be in your body. I think being a human being is difficult. anytime you do drugs, you spend the first half an hour or 45 minutes going, are you dying? Am I dying? Are you dying? Like, you're risking death to escape this consciousness.
Right.
And I got some bad news for everybody. Sometimes it's worth it. Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab-assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe, and then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says that there's a high pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the green screen.